What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Trader Network video. In this video, I'm going to be a little bit more raw, just show you guys some chart examples of something that I think is super interesting and I think that a lot of people don't actually utilize. It's talking specifically about asset correlation, but utilizing the YM as well, because most traders, when they're using SMT, finding their drawn liquidity, they don't utilize the YM, or I found that they don't really utilize the YM as much either. So what we're going to be looking at is just some examples of framing those trade ideas with and tying it into your drawn liquidity. And we're going to be looking a little bit of back testing, but also just potentially what we could see even right now here live with this, what's going on in the next however long. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So as you guys can probably already see, we're already forming an SMT with the YM. And this is going to be what seems to be a bullish SMT. So we're on the 4 hour, and we can see that the market seems to be drawing to this POI, this PD array here, this BISI, whatever you want to call it, just a point of interest, liquidity pool, whatever. And you can see we have it over here on YM as well. Something that's very interesting right away, though, you can see YM didn't take out the previous 4 hour low, and both ES and NASDAQ did. Now, why is this interesting is we can sort of anticipate, and this is kind of how I like to frame things, is anticipating something, getting confirmation that it actually happened, and then trying to execute on that anticipation confirmation type thing. So I can anticipate that the market will draw down here lower, and then hopefully, because we are really bullish, trade higher. So that can be kind of my overall framework. So I can hopefully utilize that. But you also have to realize that it doesn't necessarily have to do. When I'm framing stuff like that, it's mostly just A plus, A plus, A plus, A plus. What is the absolute best thing that could happen in order for me to get the best thing that I want to happen? But we could even still anticipate some kind of move higher without trading to that unfilled 4 hour gap. And the reason I'm saying that we can do that is because of this devil's mark that didn't get taken out on YM on the 4 hour. And again, I feel like a lot of new traders especially think that they have to catch the whole move. So when I say we can anticipate a move higher, whether we take out that POI or not, that doesn't mean that we need to go sweep out every high if we get a trade higher and an entry model execution higher without taking the POI, that is. So let's kind of just go down. Let's go 4 hour to 30 minute. Let's look at this SMT, and let's just see what we have on the 30 minute. So right away, for this to really play out, I guess we would, or at least I would definitely like to see it trade into that 4 hour unfilled to then get that basically the confirmation of the SMT. And then, like I said, we would get whatever you use to execute your model based on. You could get the execution, whether it's a CISD or an inverse. Because what we're seeing here is we're about to form, actually in 2 minutes, we're about to form a change in state on the 30 minute after we took this. So right now this high is protected, and we don't really want to trade back up to it, right? We can see that it's protected because it's swept, I believe, with an SMT. That's why it's protected. I just wanted to make confirm there. With the SMT, we have that protected. So we shouldn't expect it to trade up to that high unless we get the trade lower first into a higher time frame PD array in this scenario. So again, with the 30 minute change in state here that's about to happen, I would be framing this to be lower and then I would want to see some kind of confirmation of a reversal to then trade higher, and then we could attack if you wanted to hold that long this high because we are overall bullish. So let's actually go look. Let's find an example of a actual something that's already played out, just so I can show you a little bit more what I really do mean, so that you guys can see it in action. Let's just choose kind of, let's find like a random little, try to be as random here as possible. I guess let's see something like this. Let's see something like this. We'll look right here. Is it not? Okay. Okay, I didn't know that, so I actually need to, how do I do that? All charts. Okay, yes. Okay, that's what I was trying to do. I didn't realize that that was a, now I have to find it again, do I? Okay, yeah. There we go. This is perfect. I didn't even know this was a thing. This is a new feature, I guess, but this will be really beneficial, actually. So what I'm going to be watching here, we're on the 30-minute. I was actually trying to be on the 4-hour. I didn't realize that. Okay. So let's just play some price. I want to see how, just get some reaction to some levels first, and then try to decide and see if we get an SMT, if we get what I'm talking, if we actually form what I'm trying to explain. Let's turn the speed down as well. Okay, I might have just cooked this. Let me see. We don't have any levels that get taken out. The relative equal high with an actual sweep. So let's find a different example. I meant to do it on the daily, is what I meant to do, and I just didn't do that. Let me find an example of an SMT on the daily. And then, like I said, I can show you what I'm actually trying to frame up here. Let's see, do we have a bullish example? Is this on the daily? Get me on the daily. Okay. And just spot something. Okay, so these all get swept on every level. Again, just trying to find lower low, lower low. Give me a higher low, maybe over here. Like, am I tripping? Are these not all? Okay. F it, let's just see what, let's get them all on the 4-hour really quick. Okay, are we all on the 4-hour? Okay, let me just see what we can find. Not seeing any SMTs yet. They're all moving. They're all correlated right now. None of them are. So we all have a sweep on this low. So they're all moving in tandem right now, which is perfectly fine. Once we can identify some kind of SMT with some kind of relevant swing high. So right now we do have one. And it looks like it's going to be with this high. Okay, so let's actually jump into it. Let's see. Let me break this down again. Let me just break it down. So we have a bearish SMT, and we have it on YM is the one that has formed the SMT. So let's just see. Let's just see if we can try to form something. So we got a 30 minutes change in state right here on NQ. NQ is my primary asset. I don't really typically don't care if it's the weaker or the one that's leading. So I normally just always trade NQ, but there you can use this to your advantage as well to use the lagging, or yes, use the lagging one instead of using the stronger one. In this case, the NQ is lagging because it did sweep it and it hasn't started that move lower. So let's actually back it up just a little bit. Select bar. Okay, so once we get this change in the state on the 30-minute and we now have the SMT in play, we can start to anticipate a draw. Honestly, in this scenario, I'd probably be looking for a draw to this gap, to this new day gap. So I'm going to be looking on NQ, and what I'd be looking for here. So now I have my draw, and now I am utilizing all three assets in tandem to make that draw stronger, because now I can kind of tell where it really is heading. And we need to be aware of the fact that if we're utilizing YM, we need to understand if it's already swept that draw, and it nearly has. Okay, so let me break it down. Jesus. Again, we already have that 30-minute. From here, I'm breaking down and trying to find an actual execution, and I'll show you what that looks like for me. And we actually have what seems to be another SMT. So you get a sweep of this. This is just perfect for me, really. And especially because I like trading. I don't want to say that I'd hop in this right away, but to be honest, this is probably, I would execute on the 5-minute. I don't know. I'd probably wait for the 30-minute. It's all dependent on however your trading style, what you see, but this is just so strong to me, what we could get here, even if we want to see some kind of drawback into this 30-minute gap that was created on NQ, and then look for that confirmation of a move lower is probably what I would be anticipating. So right now, just what I'm thinking is I want to see this next 30-minute candle trade up into that fair value gap, and then I want to see it trade lower, and I'd be looking somewhere in here for the execution. We can kind of play around with it and see. I want to make sure that, all right, what, gotta put them all on 30. Okay, so we get a tag in here, and we don't look at this. So again, here's what we're trying to utilize. This one doesn't sweep, and definitely doesn't sweep over here on NQ. So we have another SMT inside of the higher time frame SMTs. And when you're getting this is giving you extra confirmation that we're likely going to draw to that new day opening gap, which is already a strong draw. So let's go down. This is where now I'm looking for that that execution. And if we want to be really safe here, we could wait to execute once we get a 5-minute change. That's, again, the actual execution is completely discretionary, up to you and whatever your system is. But for me, just to kind of test this and show you guys how to utilize YM in addition to ES and NQ, because this is probably something that you're not super aware of. You wouldn't have ever caught this SMT if you hadn't checked YM, because there was no SMT on ES. You would have only seen the SMT with that gap. Let's play it forward a little bit. See if we end up getting the close and then the entry. Okay, right here. So right here, probably tagged in right here. Again, this is just to kind of show, you know, I mean, I can't say right now exactly what the trade would look like, but just a rough idea of how you would utilize this to your advantage. Let's just see if it plays out. Right here, I'm probably break even since we swept this, and you probably get break even. So it's a break even trade, but hey, you know, I mean, you're in a super bullish market anyways, so Let's see if it does take it at all. I don't know if it'll trade down lower to that gap just with how strong the market's been. And we'll, actually, you know what? What am I talking about? We'll probably just get chopped out anyways because it's been so choppy. But for me, I'm break even at this internal low. That's just how I trade, especially when dealing with prop firms. The interesting thing would be to see if this ever does end up tapping into that gap with these SMTs. Well, and then you get an SMT right here on YM. YM's already traded into it, which I wasn't really even paying attention to, but that would invalidate the trade anyways, and I would have already cut the trade or whatever. See if I can find you guys one more example of what I'm talking about. But you can already see that you probably wouldn't have caught that trade if you just hadn't even been aware, because most traders aren't looking at the Dow. They're just not. They've been taught to look at ES and NQ because they're correlated assets, but so is YM. YM correlates with them, moves with them. But the overall trade idea you could see does work. The overall trade idea definitely works. It taps into that draw that I was talking about. And it's a no risk trade because I'm break even there personally on my system. Let's see what this looks like maybe. I'd like to find one more example. So it looks like that's a daily though. We're not, you know what? Let me just get on the 4 because I like using the 4 hour really. Oh, and it was on the 4. Okay. Where is this at? Let me see something. Maybe right here? Do we get one right there? I don't. Oh my God, dude. Let me see. Come on, give me something here. Okay, there we go. We got one. It seems so. It would seem that way. Let's see if NQ decided to sweep it. So, or YM rather. So what we're looking at here is, yes, this is, we have now an SMT with ES and YM. How can we utilize these correlated assets to kind of decide how to frame our draw, how to frame what we want to see? Did we? No, okay. Is this what we just looked at? I hope this isn't what we just looked at. That's not what I wanted. From here, I'm just measuring out EQ of this leg, just kind of see what we can get. But again, same kind of thing. I'm looking for a higher time frame change in the state with once we get this SMT. So we get the change in the state right here. And then from here, again, looking for some kind of execution, whatever you need to see how it plays out. So from there, once we get that 30-minute, which I believe formed, it's going to form on this next 5. Okay, so from here, just, I mean, this could just be a straight up sell-off. I would like to see some kind of draw back into an unfilled fair value gap, so potentially a draw up in here to this 15-minute unfilled and then a continuation lower because we got that, and I want to see a draw to EQ, but obviously it won't do that for me. Get one there. Definitely don't get one there. Give me something, bro. Come on. Okay, you wouldn't get tagged in necessarily, but you can still see how YM and ES give you those stronger SMTs that can help you get that drawn liquidity. And it looks like even this framing this idea that it'll rebalance this leg to EQ because it swept that out and got a SMT with the YM and ES, and it does. Surprise. I'd like to find an example where we could actually get an entry on the trade and just see how that plays out, but just kind of trying to randomly choose isn't doing so great. All right, maybe here. This could be something. We're on the 15-minute. Give us one. Okay, no, obviously. Okay, well, let's just play it. Oh, perfect. It'll be 9:30. So let's just see if we get an SMT at 9:30 open. Just anything. No. Just trying to see any SMT here. Oh, right here. What am I? What am I talking about? Here's an SMT. We get an SMT with this leg on. Guess what? These ones are correlated. This is a potential. I played it out too long, so I kind of know what it is that happened, but I missed it. Is you get the SMT with YM. Again, you wouldn't pick this up because you guys are so used to just utilizing ES as the SMT, as the correlated asset, when you should be utilizing all three. So let's kind of see what the structure looks like on that 4 hour. So we have a 4 hour POI above us, unfilled. You have two unfilleds. Well, this one's actually already been filled, so we could use that as a draw to that. Once we get the SMT, we could utilize the draw to that unfilled 4 hour. Once that SMT is in place, we could expect it to trade to that POI because those are strong draws again. Now, how are we going to actually execute on this? We'll see if we can get maybe a 30-minute, and you do get a 30-minute change in state above right here. Let's break it down. So once you get that 30-minute above right here, so you get the 30-minute on, get the 30-minute change on the YM. Let's see what kind of executions we would get. A little bit choppy. This is overnight anyways though, so let's just, you know what, let's just kind of loose, because I don't know what you guys execute on, but we could kind of expect that this low wouldn't get traded to because of the SMT making it a protected low, and then we could expect to go break even, maybe get chopped once we sweep this high. Yeah, once we sweep that high, we could expect to go break even. So let's just kind of let's go into the expectation with, we're not really looking at the lower time frame execution, just because again, that is discretionary on however you want to trade it, however you want to look at it. I'm just trying to show you what it looks like to actually use the YM in terms of catching a trade and catching SMTs with all three assets. So now we're taking it here. Now we're break even. Once we sweep this right here, we're break even here. And there you go. It's just a high time frame bias, so it's going to take a little bit longer to play out, but this is super simple stuff, guys. I mean, I just gave you a real example. We had one break even. Yeah, I mean, you guys got to start utilizing the YM in addition to ES and NQ, because they are all correlated. So when you don't think that there's an SMT, there could potentially be an SMT on the YM that you just didn't catch. And this can really help you iron out your drawn liquidity too, because it just strengthens it that much more. But I hope you guys really appreciate this style of video, just trying to open your eyes a little bit to maybe how I see the market. Again, don't want to dive too much into actual execution of trades just because I don't know how you guys trade, and you just want to show you these broader things that maybe you're missing.